What up, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving week as we get set to stuff our faces on Thursday. We are so happy to be with you here today on this Monday afternoon. I am Alanna Rizzo, back with you. My guy is Clint Pasillas there. He and Scott Gearman did a great job the other day when I was gone. So I appreciate you guys pinch hitting for me. Clint, you're always here, but I appreciate Scott for pinch hitting as well. Thanks for being here, our viewers, our listeners. Make sure you guys like us, subscribe, give us 5 stars, all of the things, not only on the YouTube machine, but also wherever you get your podcasts. All right, my friend, let's get into the big ticket.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're not going to start with Dodgers news, but it kind of trickles down to the Dodgers, right? Let's talk about the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, if you will.
Anaheim
signing Yusei Kikuchi to a supposed $63 million deal. That's over the course of 3 years. John Heyman reporting that it's $20 million a year, should boost the fortunes of frontline pitching comps, most notably Sean Manaea, who obviously is no longer with the Mets. I mean, he could go back there, but he's not beholden to them anymore. But likely also Severino, Flaherty, Eovaldi, Pivetta, Buehler, Snell, Burns, and Fried will be well above, of course. So let's talk about that, how this affects the Dodgers, because obviously, Clint, the Angels are not in the Dodgers division. We know that. They're not even in the same league, but they are rivals, correct? I mean, figuratively and literally not in the same league. So let's talk about how this, God bless you, my friend, how this may affect butane. Is this type of deal you think Walker Buehler will get? 3 years, $63 million seems a little bit steep in your estimation for Walker.
No, this is definitely not the realm that Walker's looking for. I don't even think that he would want a deal in that range right now, like 3 years. I think what we're kind of expecting, and we've talked about it a decent amount here in the offseason so far, here in this show, of course, on my show as well. Buehler, I can't see a world where he doesn't do some sort of 1-and-1 type of contract. Maybe it's 1 year, $15 to $18 million with some incentives and some sort of mutual option. He's still going to get he in a best case scenario, maybe he's getting somewhere in like a $25 million range, because let's not forget, Walker Buehler, when he was healthy, in 2021, was very good. He finished second in Cy Young Award voting there in the National League. You saw what he did in the postseason when he's right. Like he told us, he indirectly told everybody at Mookie Betts' house, drunk off his ass, partying for the World Series after the fact. He said right now, well, his voice was a little more messed up, but I'm a problem right now. Walker is feeling good. This is a new version of Walker Buehler, and he's 30 now. You need to have a 1 year kind of prove it deal so he can go out there and try to get himself a bag. Because let's go back. If he was a free agent after the 2021 season, there's a fair chance he's looking at a $200 million deal. I mean, that's the type of pitcher that Walker Buehler was from when he first stepped foot in that Dodger starting rotation up through that 21 season. He wants to get back to that. We know Walker wants to be viewed as one of the best pitchers in baseball. So great deal for Kikuchi. I don't know what the Angels are trying to do. I appreciate Ken Rosenthal on Fair today talking about what the hell the Angels are trying to do, and nobody really knows, but they're paying that Angel tax a little bit to try to get some pitchers, try to get some players. But Walker is going to get a 1 year prove it deal, and hopefully it's with the LA Dodgers. Do you think this is a type of move though that could affect maybe the Dodgers thinking, or maybe reset the market a little bit higher than we were anticipating at this point in the winter?
Well, let's remember that they did not offer Walker Buehler a qualifying offer, which would have been $21.5 million or whatever it was. So I do think that Walker Buehler wants a multi-year deal. The Dodgers are not going to give him a multi-year deal at $21 million a year. But that being said, look at what Teoscar Hernandez did. I mean, Teoscar Hernandez bet on himself, took a 1 year deal, wanted to be in LA, wanted to play with a contender, and he could very much parlay that into something special. So maybe Walker does take like a 1 year, $24 million deal, and then he can parlay that into something bigger. I do think, though, that Walker wants to stay in LA, right? So perhaps they can work something out that maybe it's not a 3 year, 4 year deal. But what do you think if you're putting on your GM hat, okay? what's your limit in terms of money and years to bring him back, knowing they have, Clint, other business to take care of? It's not just a Walker Buehler frontline starter issue. I mean, even though this team won the World Series, right, you can always get better, and not every single person's coming back. So if you're bringing Walker back, what are you bringing him back under?
I think it's got to be fair to both sides, and it's a 1-year deal, something where if he proves it, if he's kind of that Walker of old or whatever the new version of Walker Buehler is in the regular season, then he wants something where he can go out and get himself a whole bunch of money for a whole bunch of years next winter. But right now, you got a few names out there, upper echelon pitchers with Corbin Burns, with Blake Snell. Just below him, in my opinion, is like a Max Fried. So if Walker wants to come back, I think it's going to be something where, again, it's going to be in that 15 to 18 range with some incentives that can get it somewhere closer to, 21, maybe 23, 25 or something like that. The Dodgers will pay, but they just want to make sure. I think both sides will want to make sure that there's some protection built in there. We've seen the Dodgers do, the incentive kind of late in contracts in the past. Last year with James Paxton, I think Kershaw, had one, opted out of his 2023 or didn't take the option or whatever. Point is, Walker wants to come back. I think wherever he goes, it ends up being a 1-year deal with an option.
Obviously, everyone's kicking the tires on everybody that's a free agent. There's a rumor that there's mutual interest between Walker Buehler and the New York Yankees, which would be ironic considering he, recorded the final out against the New York Yankees in the World Series. Greatest moment ever for him, like the outstretched arms, like I am still here, I am back, whatever it was. Walker Buehler has never lacked confidence, certainly. But you know what? You and Scott had a great conversation the other day about what it's going to take. Actually, you and Jeff Spiegel, rather. I apologize. About the state of the staff for the Los Angeles Dodgers, assuming that Walker's not part of it next year. This is who the Dodgers have coming back and kind of where they are in the process. So thank you for Jeff for doing the legwork on this. But I know this is a conversation that the two of you had. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he's healthy, thank goodness. Tyler Glasnow looks to be on an African safari right now based on his Instagram. But he's coming off of injury and he's expected to be ready for opening day. You can go down the list. Obviously, Shohei coming off that injury of that subluxation of the shoulder, not necessarily certain when he's coming back. But listen, for the better part of the year, I think Shohei is going to be ready, right? Tony Gonsolin coming off injury. You can see Dustin May, all the things, all the way down the list of guys in terms of where they are at in the process of coming back. So if you look at this, the current state of the pitching on the 40-man, how confident do you feel about the strength of the Dodgers pitching staff as a whole?
Oh, that's a tough one. And this is what makes me, I think I feel as neurotic about it as you felt for most of this season when you come to the starting pitching, because I'm going to throw that graphic back up because there's a lot of names on there. There's absolutely a lot of names, but there are more question marks. And when you're looking at some of this, Gavin Stone out for the season, Kyle Hurt will be out for the season, River Ryan most likely out for the season. And when you get to depth, and we know how baseball works, you need a whole bunch of depth to make it through 162 games. And Yamamoto had the shoulder issue. Glasnow, again, didn't even finish the season. Ohtani, now probably not ready for opening day. Gonsolin is somebody I talked about on my channel on Friday. I wonder if a lot of us are kind of sleeping on Tony Gonsolin. He was an all-star in 2022, but imagine right now entering opening day with Tony Gonsolin as your number 3 guy. It's not a very comforting feeling knowing that he's there. He's coming off Tommy John. Dustin May in that mix, and he's coming off of everything. Apparently, he needs to learn how to chew a little bit more. Whatever the story was, they need to add some
esophagus,
arms.
Man. That esophagus will get you every time. You got to watch that thing. Got to be very careful with the esophagus.
So this is the point where you're at, though. You need to add some arms. I'm hoping it's Blake Snell. You got some trade routes. We know people looking at the thumbnail, people looking at the title of this video, people watching any content right now. We know the Dodgers are going to be busy. We know they're talking to just about everybody. We've seen the reports and rumors, and we'll get into more rumors in just a little bit. But we know they're in on Snell. They're in on Burns and all that, and they have a firm understanding. They have a better version of this sheet that we do, and they understand that they need one more frontline guy and probably a little bit more depth to make it through and try to go back and repeat. And if I'm a Dodger fan right now, which I am, I'm sitting here watching the Angels kind of make the first big splash of the offseason. I don't know. I want to see the Dodgers start to do something. I mean, you got some guys that need to come back. Teo, Blake Trinan, what's going on here? What do you think? We know Andrew Friedman, he's going out on vacation right now. Are things going to start picking up next week and just before winter meetings?
Like every other winter meetings, I think that Juan Soto and Scott Boras hold the cards. Once that domino falls, then all the other dominoes will start to fall. But before we listen, that list that we just put up is not including anybody that Andrew Friedman is going to sign. Okay.
That's fair.
It's going to be a better starting pitching staff, and really a starting staff all the way through to the end of the bullpen, better than what that graphic suggests. Okay. You mentioned the Angels. We mentioned them a couple of times because of Kikuchi. And by the way, Kenny Chung thinks that Kikuchi is a $15 million type of pitcher. I kind of agree with that, but for whatever reason, good for him. He got $21 million as far as that is concerned. But let's talk about the Angels for a hot second, because regardless of the fact that, again, they're probably not going to be that competitive in the AL West, they're not going to be the same type of team as the Dodgers. They're at least spending some money. And I kind of feel like the Angels are taking a page out of what the Kansas City Royals did couple of years ago, right? You lose 100 games, and in the offseason, you actually spend some money. What a novel concept, ownership.
Crazy.
You spend some money, and then you start to win some games, and you get, you almost get, deep, into the postseason or whatever. You have some really good players to build a team around, a la Bobby Witt Jr. I'm a little surprised that they let Brady Singer go, but whatever. The point is, the Angels are spending money like the Royals did a couple of years ago. So if you look at what they've done, not only are they getting Kikuchi, but they got Travis d'Arnaud. Again, I'm not saying these are high-level talented players, but they're sufficient players, okay? They got Kyle Hendricks from the Cubs. They got Jorge Soler. They've got a couple of other guys. So they've got about 5 or 6 signings right now in the offseason. Does this change your opinion of the Angels' ability to compete in 2025? I know you love this team with all your heart.
No. Listen, it depends on your definition of compete. There's a Dodgers definition of compete, which is go out there and grind and give your team, 5 or 6 innings. And then there's the Angels definition of compete, which is hopefully you can get to a 500 record, by the time you get through 162. I'll say this. I love shitting on the Angels whenever I get a chance to. I appreciate GM Perry Manassian working with what he is able to working with what Artie Moreno is allowing them to do. Because Artie Moreno, god-awful owner, terrible person when it comes to owning a baseball club. But he's actually having an opportunity. He's getting a chance to make some moves, do something to make that club a little bit better. I love the d'Arnaud addition for them because they got a young catcher there in Logan O'Hoppe that needs a veteran leader to kind of guide him through. They added another guy, former Dodger farmhand Ryan Noda, maybe play some first base. They're not committing. They're not even committing to Mr. Hollywood himself, Mr. Hollywood lifestyle, Anthony Rendon. They're saying, hey, you got to come in and earn a job. So maybe there's a little bit of a change of the guard there. But to the question,
worst signing ever.
Are the Angels a serious ball club right now? Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
All right. That's fair. All right. We don't have to waste any more time on Dodgers territory talking about the Angels. One thing I do want to talk about is our friends at Baseballism. I am sporting one of the Baseballism hats that was created to benefit my foundation, Guidry's Guardian Foundation. You can see the dachshund with the baseball. You obviously have the VIN microphone on your lid. I love that very much. Baseballism, we appreciate what you guys do. And by the way, you guys are having a massive sale right now. Check out the new Dodgers championship gear. We love this. There's an early bird sale, the whole Black Friday type of situation, but you can get this right now. 30% off statewide, site-wide, no code necessary. How about that? Just go on baseballism.com. Check out the World Champs Relaxed Fit hoodie. Why not? You got to love it. Baseballism is the official lifestyle brand of baseball. We appreciate you guys very much for being a part of Dodgers territory and really all of our shows on the Foul Territory platform. So check them out, baseballism.com. Time now for Bleedin Blue, Clint.
Let's do it. New one.
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
hey, you know what's funny? We've
Wow.
had that front end all season, and that running baseline. Oh, it's a good one. Another
I tell
fire
you what,
graphic from.
like it's like Jaguars changing their logo. Look at Bleedin Blue changing their logo too. Nicely done there. All right, let's talk about the
Dodger talk.
extension talks with Dodger talk with Tommy Edman. I mean, this makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Minus my brain fart the other day when I said we should send him to the moon. John Morosi tweeting this earlier. Hearing the Dodgers have had preliminary dialogue with Tommy Edman's camp about a contract extension. He is due to be a free agent after 2025. Why not? I mean, why not lock him up now, Clint? I mean, I think this is a guy that obviously is incredibly versatile. He can play all over the place. He's from California. He's obviously incredibly gifted. Why not lock him up now? And perhaps you have him for a longer term deal, and maybe this is the post CT era. I mean, I believe that Chris Taylor has one more year before he's a free agent. So maybe they're looking beyond that.
Yeah, this is the time to start looking, beyond 2025, and I think that's exactly what this team is doing, what this front office is doing. Tommy Edman was a guy that this front office in particular identified as, a piece they wanted on their roster for quite some time. Finally able to land that deal last year, and we saw the fit. It worked so well. Tommy Edman, Dodgers, just a match made in heaven. So to be able to get some sort of contract extension going, whether it's 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is, he's in a prime age to keep him around, keep him locked up. We know he can play a very solid shortstop. He's a Gold Glove Award winner at second base. He can play a phenomenal center field as well, an area where you are super thin as an organization. So to have him, and I like what you said there, the idea that this is sort of potentially the changing of the guard in the Kike Hernandez CT3 utility era. You could be, if they bring back Kike, which is another guy we haven't really talked a whole lot about. I believe they do need to bring back Kike, but Chris Taylor, now somebody with 1 year left on that deal. If there's a club that needs a veteran that's kind of been there, done that, maybe this is a time where they start trying to figure out a trade in some sort of offset of bad contracts or whatever. But next year will be the final year, at most, will be the final year of Chris Taylor and Dodger Blue. And hopefully, the second year of a long partnership between the Dodgers and Tommy Edman. But I love the idea. I love hearing that they're working.
Yeah, I'm not sure that CT3 is a tradable piece. I'm not certain that there's a team that's going to want to take on that contract. But that being said, I think you lock in Tommy Edman now before he gets more expensive, right? Like before he gets to play an entire year and he's, shows you what he can do. Lock him in now, and then that's good for both sides. Like I think there's something to be said about security. I mean, does that say anything though about the shortstop market if Tommy Edman signs an extension right now? I mean, it's not a very strong shortstop market like it was, last year, 2 years ago, that type of situation. And furthermore, what does this mean for Luxy? I mean, we keep talking about perhaps Luxy is a tradable piece because he doesn't come with the price tag that CT3 does.
Yeah, I mean, Gavin Lux is in a real good spot to either stay with the team or be moved in a trade. He's still cheap. I think when we saw him when he saw the swing right last year, he proved that he can still get it done at the big league level, and there should be some organizations out there that kind of maybe have a little bit of the hots for Gavin Lux if he is somebody that's being traded. With Edman, I don't know that this affects like the shortstop thinking or market too much, because I don't know that he is a full-time shortstop. Maybe giving him an off season to really work on it, focus his craft on shortstop, refining the game there. Maybe that helps, because obviously he was kind of just, thrown into the ringer there during the World Series where he did become the NLCS MVP.
Oh, is that all? Is that all he was?
Yeah, nothing big, nothing important. But if the Dodgers don't land Willy Adames, I believe they're in a good spot. Whether they are trying to put Lux at shortstop, having him work there, or whether they swing some sort of trade, or whether it is a platoon or whatever it is of Edman and of course Miguel Rojas coming back. Mm-hmm. But I think Adames is still like kind of the guy they're reaching for.
Oh God, yes. I mean, of course, I would love to have Adames in the middle of that infield with,
Yeah.
obviously Mookie Betts there at second base coming in from right field. Would you like to have Cody Bellinger back? Fair territory with our wonderful friend Ken Rosenthal said that the Cubs have interest in moving him. Do you want him back, and in what capacity?
Listen, I'll do it this way. We talked about
Listen,
we talked
listen,
about
Linda.
Linda, listen. We talked about this on my channel last week, and it always elicits a lot of commentary from the fans. I will say I'm firmly of the belief that the best era of Dodgers and Cody Bellinger is long past. That is not some sort of breaking news statement there. However, if I don't think the Dodgers are in on Juan Soto. Ultimately, they're not in on Juan Soto. But if you don't get Soto and you're not able to, re-sign Teoscar Hernandez, which would be just the fail of the offseason if you don't get Teo back, then you need to start exploring. You need to start looking at different trade routes because, if we had a list that, talking about the outfield depth situation, yeah, I mean, the team hopes they're able to move prospect Dalton Rushing to left field, but, at some point, but it's not going to be on opening day. Andy Paz is a very good player when he's right, when he's engaged, but he would right now, if Tommy Edman's your starting shortstop, Andy Paz is your starting center fielder, and Mookie Betts is an infielder now. So you need some help on the infield. When Cody is right, when he's engaged, and when we've seen him play a phenomenal right field in the past, the legs are slowing down a little bit for center field. I don't know. The longer I go around on this, I feel like I'm trying to talk myself into it. I think if things fall a certain way, yes, you can look at a Cody Bellinger reunion. I don't know that it's the right call though. What do you feel about it,
I don't
Belly?
think you can create the magic that was that 2017 through 2019 team, or 2020 team. There are certain guys I would have liked back at a certain point. Like I would have liked to have never let Justin Turner go. Do I necessarily want JT back as our third baseman or DH? That doesn't fit anymore, right? So Kike, I always want back, and I don't care if it just starts October 1st. There's certain guys that make sense, but I don't think Belly at this point makes sense. And Carnivorous Lunar Activity wants to know why there's so much buzz with Adames because he sucked in Tampa. Look at what he's done for Milwaukee, and then come back to me and talk about why Adames is creating the buzz. Willie Adames, I think, would be a great addition.
Yeah.
I think he'd fit in nicely to what the Dodgers want to do. Okay, before we move on here, I have to ask you, I know you're doing this tongue in cheek, and I swear to God, I thought I missed something because when you were like, "Oh, Andrew Friedman won the offseason," I was like, "My man Clint, my homie, my co-host, has lost his ever-living mind. Won the offseason," but obviously you were joking.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about signing a guy like this, right? Giovanny Gallegos to a minor's contract. Now, there's something about the Dodgers that allows people to be themselves and kind of reinvent themselves. Do you like this signing? Obviously, we know that you're being facetious here, but do you like this for any reason?
Well, I'm being tongue in cheek because it's obviously, and facetious because it's obviously not the signing everybody was hoping the Dodgers were going to make this offseason. But however, it's a very, very good signing because in the past, this dude Gallegos has been a very, very good reliever. He was a closer at different points in time for the St. Louis Cardinals. And if there's anybody in the world that has just a little bit of talent, the Dodgers can find a way to fully unlock it. So you get this guy. It's the ultimate of a buy low, low risk, high reward deal. You need to replace a Dan Hudson in your bullpen. You need to fill some innings that Brusdar Graterol won't be taken for the first half of the season. River Ryan's out. Kyle Hurt is out. You still don't have Blake Trinan. So you add somebody that has some upside, had some talent, had a very nice run, I think it was 2019 through 2022. Gallegos posting an ERA around 2.84. Just put the numbers together right here. Well, technically, Baseball Reference did, but even so, it's a great signing, knowing that it doesn't affect anything. It's a minors deal. It's what the Dodgers do, and it's what Andrew Friedman does best. You don't win championships. You don't win 100 games most seasons without these type of moves, without your Evan Phillips, without your Anthony Bondas, without your Brent Honeywells. You don't get deep into a postseason or into through a season. You don't survive a season. You get deep into a postseason And you don't win World Series without these kind of moves. And this is where I love Andrew Friedman. When he's able to do the bargain basement shopping, oh, my boy cooks.
I tell you what, Andrew Friedman, I'm trying to get him on the show, and I do believe that he will join us. He was going to come on today, but he's actually traveling. And then on Wednesday, obviously, day before Thanksgiving, he's doing stuff with his family. So I'm still working on that, but a tremendous amount of respect for him, obvi. So let me ask you this. If you could have one player right now, just one player back, let's say it's just, and I'm not talking about contract terms. It's not apples. It's apples to oranges here. Okay. One player that you want. Who is it?
Damn,
let's say 1 year deal.
1 year. Can I get a pitcher and a position player? I gotta have Teoscar Hernandez. I gotta have Teo. Teo's got to be my guy. Who's your one?
Same for me. I mean, we've been screaming about it all night long, all day long, all year long, that they had to extend Teo. So I'm with you on that. All right, time now. Let's talk about the pups. Time now for last licks.
Let's do it.
All right, you guys were great last week talking about Bernadette. I appreciate that very much. Good news on Bernadette. She has a very interested adoptive party in Arizona, so let's pray that that's her forever home. Let me introduce you to Bentley. This good boy has been failed by humans so many times, but he is such a good dog. He is in a board and train program with Heroics Canine down in San Diego, but he is a phenomenal dog. He's about a 1.5-year-old to 2-year-old German Shepherd mix, probably a little German Shepherd, probably a little husky. So active boy. He is neutered. He is vaccinated. He is healthy. He is microchipped. He's good with other dogs. He's very well behaved. He's good with kids. And he desperately needs a forever home. He has, again, been failed by way too many people, but he's still super loving. If you're interested in meeting Bentley and providing him with a forever home, please reach out to me on my socials or obviously Gidry'sGuardian.org. Bentley is that's my dog's name, by the way, but this is the male version of Bentley instead of my female Bentley.
I was worried you were trying to trade in your dog. It's like, that doesn't sound right.
How dare you? I would trade in you way before I traded in my dog.
I'm doing my job.
I traded in my dog. She's my baby. All right. Have you seen this though? This Shohei Ohtani look-alike contest.
This is pretty good. Hold on. I got the button somewhere. I forgot to put it on my stream deck here, but somebody, you can go out there and apparently win $17. I think it was. Is that what they gave away?
I don't know. I mean, that makes sense. It's his jersey number, right? But I mean, so you go apparently on November 23rd. This was just a couple of days ago. So yeah, it just happened. And there's a cash prize and a mystery gift. Hey, I don't know. I would love to have seen the winner of this contest, but I'm certain anything Shohei Ohtani related, there was probably a line out the door. And speaking, Clint, of a line out the door, did you happen to see the amount of people that were at the Anthony Banda signing? My friends had this signing with him, and I tell you, he is far more popular than I gave the young man credit for.
Yeah, the people love, to borrow from our friend Jerry Harrison Jr., they love the real AB, Anthony Banda. Plus, the boy, it's like looking into a mirror. The boy looks very hot with the shirt off, so I get it. This is why I enclose myself in this room. But, beyond just Banda, like, fans, my God, they are so the excitement is still going for this World Series win, for this team. People, I mean, there's so many signings going on, so many different events, and the fans are they're showing up and showing out, and I love every minute of it. Dodgers fans, you guys fucking rock.
Do you think that Clayton Kershaw is still blaring "We Are the Champions" out of his house in Texas?
I forgot about that.
Even the 2020 World Series, when it was just like on a loop in his house. And I guarantee you now, in a full season, it's on repeat for Clayton Kershaw. All right, what is coming up on your channel tonight, my friend? All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas. Check it out. What's going on?
Tonight we'll be live 6 p.m. Pacific time here on the YouTube. Go subscribe to my channel. My friend Tim Rogers from Dodgers 2080, a longtime baseball friend of mine here on this YouTube. We'll be talking about Dodgers, a whole bunch of roster-related stuff, of course, latest rumors and all that kind of stuff. Dodgers needs, so please do consider tubing in, consider giving the show a subscribe. Hey, while you're subscribing to things here on YouTube, subscribe to Dodgers Territory. All of it's free, guys. It's free, and it helps us feel better as human beings.
It does. It does help us feel better. By the way, it is Thanksgiving week, so everybody enjoy your Thanksgiving, and I hope you're with those that you want to be with. Don't forget, though, we are actually on the air on Friday, and send us your questions over the course of this next week because we're going to do a mailbag episode of Dodgers Territory on Friday. So let Clint and I know what you guys want to talk about. We'll try to get you on Friday. Thank you so much for watching. For Clint Pasillas, I'm Alanna Rizzo. Again, appreciate you guys being here as always. Happy Thanksgiving. Go Dodgers.
Bye.